Hello traders, this is Alex with the Stock Matrix program. We had one new trade today. The market got a little naughty, a little nasty on the indexes. um, Apple was our new trade for the day. It's been a choppy kind of trade this last couple months, kind of in a triangle format. We'll take a look at that. Again, here's my X, CBOT Man 33 is my handle. I put the trades on there so you can review after this video. You can go back and review some of the same stuff we'll go over. At least you can go back through and visit it, or maybe another day. All right, let's look at our bar chart first. Again, we use the free service with bar chart and use our portfolio to keep track of our trades and get our option prices. Again, since it's fictitious, I don't personally trade all these stocks. So, but it's a good service and I recommend it. You can see that we had a pretty good day, up 11%. Today's return was 26% total. Again, these options are riding with the trend, right? We got half puts on, and or actually more now. We'll take a look at that here in a second, but it definitely got more puts and calls. And you can see that, let me see, the Apple trade we liquidated was a loss. And again, we'll look at that chart here in a second. Just a chopper, no consistency besides a chop, right? There's no trend. Trend is sideways, so there is a trend. But our biggest winner so far is, of course, Tesla. We got 415 puts on, so 20 grand or $19,114 total. We paid 5 grand for it, 5,100. So we got 13 grand profit. Now again, we haven't got out yet, and again, the stops are quite wide when you get these faster moving markets, especially on the down, and that's one of the disadvantages of a system. Of course, we'll stay in there no matter what, right, until the system goes back long. So it might be in a week, right? It'll have a big flush back up, and the lows are put in. Let's go to the matrix. This is the trade, Apple. We went short at 229.21. And if you're trading actual stocks, right, 100 shares of them, you have a stop in at 250. Let's look at Tesla since that's the big dog. We're short from 375 and it's at 222, right? So it's dropped 60% since we put it on. So again, a pretty big value, right? Again, when you get down into money like this, the options don't change versus because they're both 100 shares, right? So again, we just keep the same amount. We lose the time value on the option, and that's it, which normally happens. Either if it goes against us or for us, we lose. That's our risk is the time. And if it goes against us, of course, we also have in the money threat there as well. Looking at the statistical part of the page, we are coming into the lunar eclipse. You can see right here. That's pretty big. The last lunar eclipse, you go back and look, a lot of lows occurred on the lunar eclipse. Now, I like the solar for more of a time perspective, but the lunar tends to be more of lows and highs and that kind of thing. But you can see we have also some annuals coming in. Google had some come in yesterday and today, and so pretty important, right? There's quite a few. We had 2 new highs, Edison Electric Company and IBM both made new highs today. Of course, we're long those, so that's okay, right, for us. We are quite a few days off the low. Again, this is kind of the COVID break area. ED is actually longer than that, so pre-COVID. So it's definitely long in the tooth for possible correction, right? Again, these are all bulls. Everything doesn't stay bullish forever. Now, of course, a lot of people think that, but that's not the case. I'd go through a few of these charts and find out the real story. Here's the Apple chart, or the stock matrix chart, and you can see that this thing is just a chopper. I mean, stopped here, stopped there, made a little money on the trial period, stopped out here, made a little money, but again, just a chipper. There's just no consistency, and you can see the triangle, right? These are one-to-one trend lines off these highs, and you can just see that it's in this area. Basically, this whole area is a big chop, in my opinion. Of course, everybody's loaded up with Apple, right? That's why. It isn't a new company by any stretch. So, and they still use slave labor. So you got to be a little careful with these kind of markets. What is the real price? Well, hang on. Apple's real price is $50,955.52. Now that's taking out all the splits. So if Apple was actually trading at $51,000, no one would be trading it. Only the rich guys would afford it. And you're not going to buy, a whole bunch of shares. That's one share. So it's a crazy amount of money that these are at, right? Nvidia at 51,003. Again, it's just crazy. Now Meta hasn't had a split. I don't know about Facebook prior to Meta if they had a split or not. But I think that's why Meta is getting pushed higher. I think the big boys want to split like they had in Cintas, and then kapoof. Anyway, that's what this is here, right? So if you ever look at that, that's the real price without the splits, at least the best I could figure. Let's go to the actual daily chart on Apple. This is actually a monthly chart, and this is kind of the picture that I'm going to use for my video, so I'll just keep this up. You can see this is a 2x1 trend line parallel channel, right? This was our last break, which wasn't very much at all. More of a time correction, which is the bullish ones, right? Those are, when you get time corrections, it's still important on the future, but again, we didn't make a new high for over a year and a half. So once we made a new high, then it just started ratcheting higher. But again, it's just a chopper in a channel, though. So now, of course, if we ever do get negative, it could definitely go down. Now, I don't know if it will or not. There's too big of players in it to. Again, if it goes down, it's because they want to buy more, right? These big black rocks of the stock market. Here's a daily
Refresh
chart.
finished.
And you can see we have, again, I plot all the annuals. Red are bearish, or lows, blues are highs. So we're in the 2009, right? Here's a 2009 high, here's a 2009 low. So again, 09 had a big whip along with 08. Of course, that was the big low, right? The big bear market. Hang on, let me get it in the frame a little better. We had, again, here's the solar eclipse. We're back to it and closed above it. So again, if you're wanting to buy a dip in Apple, that was a good opportunity. System got short right there, right? But again, the system don't care about any of that. They don't care if it loses 20 in a row, right? But when it trends, it'll make a killing. If it ever trends, it'll make a killing. We did have these. We do have a few other important ones, right? 2022, kind of the COVID era. 2020, pre-COVID. So, and again, you can see right? 2000 even, and 2020. It's a 20-year cycle, so that kind of syncs up. So anyway, we got some stuff coming up into the future. Let's look through the daily charts. Here's NVIDIA. Again, I put this on here last time we had the trade in NVIDIA, but again, that's the target, right? The logical target, time and price. Back here, the price was ahead of time. It definitely is getting close enough where we could definitely see that happening, right? So again, that's pretty typical chart work, time and price stuff. But again, another chopper, which just everybody's loaded up, right? So it's not going to be an easy trade. If we ever do get bearish on some of these stocks, it could be pretty ugly. I mean, we're 150 high and we're at 100. I mean, that's a pretty good break in anybody's book. Let me see. That's 35%. This one was. So, and this one is 32%. So again, that's a potential where we go. Here's Meta, kind of the same deal. Here was the break. We've actually went through it, and again, this was the target we were talking about on Meta the other day on the video with a solar eclipse low. This is the solar eclipse close, and so again, we're definitely in the zone where it could make a low if it's just a simple correction, right? Not an over move. Coke had a pretty good move, kind of a safe play, right? We had this huge gap up, which has been pointing to the safer plays, and haven't made a new high yet, but definitely have these lows in here and these highs. I'm going to take this one off because I believe we've proven that it is going up. This one we don't know yet, and I might change it if we start going down. Really, no other annuals in the picture. Google, again, another smash, pretty good hit. Here's our projections that we've posted weeks ago. It's a 22% break if we get to that level. So again, pretty ugly. Microsoft, a little older break, right? This one is actually made in December. Secondary top in January. You got, and again, that's high. The all-time high was the 12th, and you look back at all the 12ths, right? I'm just doing a little quick chart stuff with you here. This was the 13th. There was no 12th, so again, it was kind of a low. Here's the 12th, right here, kind of a low, and we're coming into the 12th in a few days. So, and again, important to me as a chart guy, and maybe a chance to buy this thing if it would happen to kind of stop going down. For maybe have an inside day tomorrow might actually intrigue me for an option trade. Again, if you watch the video that I put out, I don't know, last week, maybe earlier that was last week, talked about buying the bear and bull, doing the bear and bull traps using out of the money options. This is actually a good candidate. We kind of have a double trap. So we've taken out everything, right, for a year and a half. So I'll probably be looking at buying a call here since we have timing, one of my criteria. Anyway, I'll be looking at buying 395, 390, $4 calls, whatever I can get that makes sense. Try to keep it cheap. I'm only go out. It's probably the next monthly is probably April 17th or something. So we're just a 1 month time frame. I'll go out of the money calls, and if I uh, make 50%, I get out because again the trend is definitely down. We don't have any uptrends here. Amazon, another dump. Um, so again, we're down pretty hard. We're past our projection that we made, right? That the price was a little slow and time was a little slow, but again, the speed makes sense, right? Let's just run it out into the future. So again, the speed, could go down to here, right? We got the, where is my solar? This is it right here. I don't have my solar line. Must have accidentally deleted it. So this is the target, right? The solar eclipse close on October 2nd was 104.76. So let's call it 185 is kind of a good target area. It don't matter really when, but again, the lunar's coming up here in a few days, so I'm kind of anxious. And like I mentioned weeks ago, these eclipses, so this is what you see on these eclipses. This volatility is not uncommon to me as a chart guy that knows how to trade these eclipses. And that's why the system is making a killing, because the trends get overextended. Now, again, we haven't made money yet because the system won't get out until it pops way back, right? But unless we sit here for a couple weeks, then I'll lock in some profits. But until then, the train, who knows? Maybe Apple will get busted and be down at 180. Again, people don't think that can happen. Well, look at Tesla, it just dropped 55%. So it definitely can do it. Let me see what it is. 83 days down. 55%. So it dropped 55% in this short period of time. Now that's not uncommon. Here was another drop that we had. Not percentage. We're just going to go points. And that would be down at 180. So again, people, that can't ever have. Well, geez, look what it's already done. It can do whatever it wants. Don't get caught thinking that the market can't do anything, because it can do whatever it freaking wants. Some of these charts, the ones that I'm not, that I'm actually trading, some of these out of money options have dropped, 70%. So here's ED. This is the one that made a new high. We have timing, some gaps. Again, Edison Electric is a safer play, right? Pretty good dividends. An old company, just a safe play. And people are dumping your money out of the crap and the expensive stuff and putting it to work out there. Now, again, they normally don't get in and out that quick. So if they are dumping into these safer plays like Edison, Procter & Gamble, Coke, right? Those safe plays, if they are doing that, that means they'll probably stay over there for a while. I gotta assume. Adobe, one of the longer bears. We haven't had it's been since February 2nd when we made the high. So we're over a year. Here's February 2nd. 1 year into it, plus some, right? So again, a very old bear with a lot of stupid gaps. Here's our other one that made new highs, first all-time highs, and that was IBM, a chipper, right? And again, I did actually put this trade on and made money on the next day. I think I put it on here. Maybe it's 2 days later or 3. Anyway, I bought calls in here, like on the program I put out a few weeks ago. You have to go back and look. But anyway, I basically day traded, a couple day trade on these options. Made a killing. I made 100% because the trend was up. So I bought it for 412 and got out at 800. So again, doubled my money. And actually, I took the other side today. I bought puts and already made my 50%. I couldn't get out yet, but I do have orders in to get out, making about 55% in one day. I don't like day trading on Robinhood because they ban you if you day trade too much. So I hopefully, I don't know if it'll gap up or not. Here's BK. It made new highs not too long ago, a week ago, and down we are again. Probably, back to these old highs here, right? So makes sense a little bit. Procter & Gamble did not make new highs. Kind of failed, a double failure, triple failure. Kind of a poke, right? But what does that tell you? That means that there's really a lot of stops brewing, and I'll be doing a out of the money put if we do have a bear trap. Now again, why am I excited about that trade? Because we had a bear trap here, and if this is a bull trap, I like that for every action there's opposite but equal reaction, right? And I believe that is the case here. I think it's setting itself up to pop it, and then I'll be doing some out of the money puts. That'll probably be, again, I'm guessing because I'm not there yet, but probably 176s or something. JP Morgan had a freaking smash. Really rounded the corner. All these annuals, these I got to put up here. But all these annuals have been accelerational points and places to put your stops if you're trading the actual stock. Now again, our stops are up here on the system, so we're not going to go long until it really goes up. I mean, let me see, what percentage break is this? That is 20%, 18, 19% break. But we did have a trap here, so I'll be looking at that one tomorrow as well. I don't like that trap as much, but we do have timing, so I'm kind of getting into the groove. Coinbase had a pretty good rip. This is one of those that I traded because I didn't want to do Bitcoin actual on this program. I'm trying to keep it stocked, but we had a 50% break down in here, so it definitely broke support. I would assume the nature of the beast, they'll be looking for this market to probably drop this low out. Again, we made a bull trap high. I'm expecting a bear trap low. Now again, the lunar's a couple days out, and then the solar is the end of the month, so definitely plenty of time for something to happen. Here's Cintas. Again, experience tells me that this is a grinder to the upside. I mean, if you watched other videos, you know I've been preaching that. Now that's my 4 decades of trading tells me you get a 20% break pretty fast or more, and you tend to grind higher, and then eventually you make new highs a year later. Now that's my anticipation. But of course, we're up against the solar, a secondary event. 62%, I believe, was where we corrected back to. Broke the support here. Back to the solar once again, had a failure. So at least, we could go down in here. Again, I don't know how it's going to trade, right? I just know it's a grinder. The typical trade is to grinder. Now, if we had a bull trap high, we could go down and bang this out and maybe make a bear trap low. That'd be cool. I'd be trading that. But, again, this was a 21% break in a short period of time after it's had its splits. Let's, I'm going to go through and continue down. This is the S&P chart, and you can see we had the trap here, and the results are bad. We broke out these support, and it, bear trap really, and it had no reaction. That's not good as an index, right? So then here is the Dow. Now it had a trap here, so I'll be interested in kind of see how it trades tomorrow. Here's the QQQ with, its bull trap up here. Broke this low, kind of had an outside weird event, maybe got you excited, and then just continued ground down. So it looks a little heavy. Again, these traps are interesting me. I just think that's interesting. Again, the time, the time spent at this high, the time spent at this high is pretty equal. The end result was 1.5 years bear market, right? So again, if we have, this is the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, right? But that would project, well, I guess I have it here already, but that would project a low down here around 380 if this is an equal correction. Now, if you do the percentages, it could be down here. So we'll keep it here for now. But again, that's what happens, right? I mean, COVID was a fake break in my anticipation. So, okay, I am done. Be careful, like I've said. This is the lunar solar sequence. It gets rocky. Protect yourself. Your equity is your blood, right? Don't get caught being overthinking things. Use the options in your favor. If you have a ton of stocks on, maybe buy some QQQ puts or something to protect yourself a little. Yeah, just don't get too greedy. I mean, keep your powder dry is maybe okay. If you've gotten out of some stuff, maybe put it on pause until, and don't get back in until you see what happens, right? I mean, I know a lot of people get all wound up, but these bear markets they usually happen pretty fast, and they go so quick. And again, a lot of them V-bottom, though. That's the problem, right? So that's what everybody's getting trained to do, is do the V-bottoms and load up again. Well, this is a little different deal. We haven't had any break for a couple of years, so which is a problem, right? Everybody's bullish. NVIDIA and the AI, and well, the AI is old news, right? If you haven't traded AI by now, I think it's old news. So, I mean, there'll be a few winners come out of it, and that'll be it. All right, I'm rambling. Everybody, have a great rest of your trading week.